Hello children, data handling, class 7, subject mathematics, chapter 3, and this is the part 2. So in the previous class we have studied about the introduction for data handling, right? So in today's class we will be studying about mean. So what do you mean by mean? It is nothing but the average value. Okay, so average in the sense what? See, when the collected data is large, usually there is tendency for most values to lie in the middle compared to fewer extreme values. Which means what? In a class, okay, let's take an example of 7th standard. We will not say that the students who score very less marks or the students who score very high marks. We will just tell the average, which means we will just make it a round off to some value. Which means what? We will add everybody's marks divided by the number of students, which gives us the average marks. We won't say that the 7th standard classroom is having students who are not at all studying or who are extremely brilliant. We say that the class is average, which means okay, they are good. Yes or no? Here, if you wish to find a most representative single value for the set of data collected, we use an average value. Okay, so we can't say everybody's marks. So we will take an average of it. Okay, so let's take an example here. Here, what happens? Few numbers are given. Okay, which are 10 marks scored by 10 students. Okay, so arithmetic mean. How do you calculate mean? Is nothing but sum of 10 marks divided by total. Okay, so here we have got 62 plus 43 plus 25 plus 90 plus 68 plus 64 plus 52 plus 68 plus 39 plus 57 divided by 10. Why it is 10? Because there are 10 values. Therefore, you have to write 10. So, the mean is 56.8 marks. Okay, we won't say that 25 is the least marks and 90 is the highest marks. We say the average marks, that is 56.8 marks, and the average value is called as mean value. Is it clear, children? And let's look at the mean examples here. We can use the mean value to say things like 7th standard students are younger than 8th standard students. Yes or no? Almost 7th standard students will be younger than 8th only. Even though there are 1 or 2 students who are elder to 8th standard students, we won't consider that. We just neglect that because we think of the maximum number of students. Okay, so almost usually 7th standard students will be younger than 8th standard students. Okay, so this is one of the mean examples. When we say it is hotter in July than in November, it is once again based on the mean values. Maybe some days in the July be cold. Okay, we know that the November is the cold month. Yes or no? We know that the July is the hottest month. Even though there are 1 or 2 days varies, we will still consider it as July as the hottest month. Okay, which is based on the maximum number of days. And the third example here is we see such mean values when they show the batting average of a different cricket players. Okay, and the mean value need not be one of the observed value. Example 56.8 is not anyone's marks. We will just round it off. Let's look at the mode. Okay, so mean is nothing but when you find out the average value is called mean. Mode means what? Another possible single representative number for the given data is mode, which means most repeated observation. Mode means most repeated observation. Remember that, children? So let's take an example here. The shoe size of 200 students in the school can be collected. The smallest size is 4 and the largest size is 9. If the size 6 has occurred 78 times and no other size has repeated that much, we call the mode size of shoe is 6. Which means for the size 6, there are 78 students and the remaining sizes is not so much. Therefore, the maximum number of times the thing is repeating, we represent that as a mode value. Okay, which means most repeated observation is mode. Another average is median. And how do you calculate median? Median is nothing but the mid value or the middle value. Okay, so for this we have to make sure to arrange the data in either ascending or descending order. Okay, you cannot skip this step, children. You have to represent it in ascending or descending order in order to calculate the median. Whereas for mean and mode, you are not supposed to do this process, do this step. Whereas for median, you have to arrange the data in either ascending or descending order. Okay, so let's look at the example here for 10 marks. Okay, so these are the 10 marks given and we have to write either in ascending or descending order. So in this example, we have written it in ascending order and we have to look at the middle number. Okay, so how many values we have? We have got 10 values. So the middle number are 57 and 62. So we have got two values as the middle values. So if you have got only one value as the middle value, then that itself represents the median. Here we have got two value, therefore you have to add those two and divide it by 2. So here in this example, 57 plus 62 divided by 2, which gives rise to 59.5 is the median value. Is it clear, children? If you have got only one value as the middle value, then that itself represents the median. But here you have got 2. Therefore, you have to take the average of it. Okay? So, mean, mode and median. So, arithmetic mean, mode and median are all different ways of expressing a set of values by a single representative number. For the marks of the 10 students considered, mean is 56.8, mode is 68 and median is 59.5. So, we have taken the same example of all the 10 students and we have calculated the mean, median and mode. Right? So, these tell us where the data points are clustered and the spread of the data is indicated by the range. Right? How do you calculate range? It is highest value minus lowest value. So, in the higher class, we will be studying about standard deviation and all. Okay, so for your class, mean, mode and median is enough. So, how do you count by tally marks? This also I think I have taught you in class 6. So, till you have 4, you will be writing it as a 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Once it is 5, you will be cancelling out like this and this represents a 5. It is a 1 bundle of 5. For 10, it is 2 bundle of 5. So, it's very easy to identify the number. Is it clear? When it is in the bundle of 5. So, this is how you write the tally marks for the number. So, next we have something called chance and probability. So, we will be studying few like introduction to chance and probability and you will be studying in detail in your higher class. Okay. So, let's look at the chance and probability. So, in many board games, we roll a die. You know, right? It will be in a shape of cube and it will be having 6 numbers in 6 faces, starting from 1 to 6. So, the number on the top face is taken for playing the game. When you play a Ludo or when you play a snake and ladder, we use the dice, right? So, if you roll the die 100 times, you will get one of these 6 numbers in each throw, right? Whenever you throw, you either get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Among these 6 numbers only, you get any one of the number, right? So, the set of these 100 values is a data that can be analyzed. As there are only 6 possible ways, we can count the number of times each of these 6 numbers appeared in our experiment. So, interestingly, all the 6 different values would appear roughly equal number of times as there is nothing to choose among the faces of a perfect cube. Okay, so there is a chance of getting the numbers from 1 to 6, right? So, such experiments which has more than one possible outcome in a particular trial are called random experiments, okay, where you have got the values ranging from 1 to 6. Okay, so let's take another example of a coin. So when you toss a coin, what are the two possible outcomes? It is either head or it is tail, right? You cannot predict whether it is head or tail, right? Can you predict it? No, it will be either head or it will be a tail. So we can say that it is the proportion of times head falls will be roughly half, which means either it can be head or it can be a tail. Whereas when you roll a die, you have a chance of getting the numbers ranging from 1 to 6. Therefore, it is 1/6 of the total number of rolls of the die. Is it clear, children? So let's look at the probability. So what do you mean by probability? So there are some situations in our life that are certain to happen, some that are impossible to happen. We know whether it is going to happen or it is impossible to happen, or some that may or may not happen. The situation that may or may not happen has a chance of happening, whether it can happen or it cannot happen. Okay, so this chance is expressed by a number called probability. So probability can take values from 0 to 1, which means either it will happen or it will not happen. You cannot have the values ranging from 0 to 6, 1 to 6 and all. Is it clear? So it is 0 for events that are certain not to happen, and it is 1 for the events that are certain to happen. So if the probability is 0, which means it is not going to happen. And if the probability is 1, then it is going to happen. So for a head to fall, when a coin is tossed, so the probability is half. So for 1 to fall, when a die is rolled, probability is 1/6. If a probability is higher for an event, it has a greater chance of happening. Okay, so remember this last point, children. So you will be studying in detail about the chance and probability in your higher class. So for now, just know the basic of probability. Okay, hope you have understood. So let's continue in next class, children. Thank you.